The Western Conference All-Star starters are in the books, and of course, there was a big snub. So when the coaches come around to doing the reserves, they're going to clean up some of that. To remind you, the coaches are going to put in 2 guards, 3 forwards, and 2 flex players. So we've asked our guys to chime in, and I'll give you mine. My Western Conference All-Star reserve starts with Russell Westbrook. No question, he was justified in being not only a starter, but maybe got a huge snub in this process. But we'll clean that up and put him in as a reserve. Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors. Look, this team's going to win 70 games this year. They're on course for that. And Klay Thompson's having a great season. It kind of gets lost in the hype of the Warriors, but Klay Thompson's an all-star, and the Warriors justify having more than a few guys on the squad. My front court guys, DeMarcus Cousins. Look, no question, DeMarcus Cousins, best center in the league. So DeMarcus Cousins makes the list. I put LaMarcus Aldridge in, and I know a lot of my peers probably aren't going to go with LA, but let's face it, this San Antonio Spurs, second best team probably in the NBA, and LaMarcus Aldridge is having a really good season as well. The spotlight goes on Kawhi Leonard, but LaMarcus Aldridge gets a spot on my roster. Draymond Green, of course, the Mr. Do-Everything. Maybe his stats don't jump off the page like maybe they did last year, but when you look at what Draymond Green is to the Golden State Warriors and really is to the NBA, he's an all-star in every category. My flex, let's go Marc Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies. Look, I struggled not to get Mike Conley on here. He's justifying. But look, you got to have a Grizzly. Marc Gasol is absolutely what you think of when you think all-star. And look, we need big guys on the roster. My last flex spot goes to Damian Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers. Again, I struggled with Mike Conley in this position. Also struggled with Gordon Hayward in this position. But I'm going to give the spot to Dame. He's having an amazing season. Unfortunately, the Blazers aren't having a great season, but he'd still get my last spot. And if Adam Silver is asking, there's an injury replacement. Maybe it needs to be Gordon Hayward. Now, look, I would have put Chris Paul in here. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I voted for Chris Paul as a starter. But Chris Paul is injured, and I'm not putting an injured guy in the reserves when we know he's injured at the time of voting. So for me, we're doing an injury replacement. It's going to be Gordon Hayward of the Utah Jazz. When you look at what the Jazz are doing and what Gordon's doing, he's as justified as anybody.
My teams will be unbalanced for the Western Conference. I will have 7 front court players and 5 back court players, and I'm cheating a little bit. Because I believe that the front court in the West is so much more loaded than the back court. I've taken a little liberty and moved one player who could be on the edge of the designation from front court into the back court so that we can make room for more front court players. That said, the 3 players who I'll be adding to the backcourt, on top of the 2 who were already voted in, that is James Harden and Stephen Curry, I would add Russell Westbrook, Mike Conley, and Gordon Hayward. Hayward is the player I'm mentioning who technically falls under the front court category. However, NBA coaches have shown the ability to maybe fudge these things a little bit in the past. And because of, I believe that Hayward deserves to be in the game, but there's such a glut at the front court positions, I've decided to put Hayward in as a guard. I think he deserves to make this team over names like Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Klay Thompson, other guards who have done a very good job, but I think Hayward's overall performance has been better. Again, this is a small fudging, slightly unlikely that the coaches would go ahead and do this. For my forwards then, front court, I'm going to add Marc Gasol, Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins, and Rudy Gobert to the 3 who were already selected. I believe all of those deserve spots. I also strongly considered Nikola Jokic out of Denver. That's a surprising name to some. And Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota. Unfortunately, in Towns' case, the fact that his gaudy numbers haven't been quite enough to get his team over the hump and even into realistic consideration for a playoff spot is part of what keeps him down. Jokic, I think, is somebody who should get a little more play. He's almost certain not to get a vote in reality, but he's been somebody who's been fantastic, especially over the last month. Those are my Western Conference reserves.
My 3 backcourt players in the Western Conference are Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, and Klay Thompson. Obviously, one of the biggest snubs from the starting lineup this year was Westbrook. When you look at him averaging a triple-double, something that hasn't been done since Oscar Robertson, he no doubt deserves an all-star nod this year. And then when you look at Chris Paul, he in the Los Angeles Clippers, he is their biggest key to success. So he's the heart of that team, and to see him go down for the next 6 to 8 weeks with that thumb injury is going to be devastating for the Clippers, but Paul still deserves an all-star nod this year. And then Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters in the league. His resume pretty much speaks for itself. And then my 2 front court players, in that Western Conference with Draymond Green and DeMarcus Cousins. Draymond Green, in my opinion, is one of the most versatile players in the league. To see what he can do on any given night it is very valuable for the Warriors. And then DeMarcus Cousins adding that three-point shot, further adding that he's one of the most dangerous big men in the league. And then my two alternates in the Western Conference are Marc Gasol and Gordon Hayward. Gasol is not a flashy player, but he has been one of the best centers in the league over the past several years. Then Gordon Hayward's leading the Utah Jazz to the 5th seed in that playoff picture in the Western Conference. And then my injury replacement for Chris Paul is Damian Lillard. I think his career year definitely deserves a nomination as well.